When I was in 8th grade, I really didn't like cheerleading. Cheerleading didn't sound fun, but then as I got to my freshman year, I was going to some football games, and I looked at the cheerleaders, and I was like, that looks pretty fun. So sophomore year, I joined cheerleading, and it's really fun. You should listen to this presentation because if you might respect the cheerleaders a little more than what people do these days. My 3 main points are the history of it, the first team, and some safety rules. My first main point was that cheerleading was tied into football. People started cheerleading at Minnesota State or at the University of Minnesota when they were on a losing streak. A student from another school that had graduated from Princeton University went to a Minnesota game and started cheering. Women weren't allowed to join cheer until the 1920s. Cheerleading was started in 1898, but it was all males until the 20s. Women were allowed to join cheer in the 20s because men were sent to the war. My second main point is the first cheer team. The first cheer was technically Princeton University. Princeton University had an all-male pep club. A guy from Princeton that graduated went to the Minnesota game and was the one that started cheering. After that, a Minnesota student was yelling for the team when they were losing. Johnny Campbell organized a group of energized males, and that group of energized males became the first cheer team. When they started cheerleading, they needed some rules. Safety things to do before you start cheering is you should stretch before practices, games, and competitions. Make sure that your whole team has enough room to stretch and cheer. Being safe during a stunt is very important. Make sure that the flyer has a back spot and sometimes a front spot if you're doing more. Make sure that the flyer is okay with the stunt that you're doing so she is not that nervous and doesn't get hurt. In conclusion, the safety of cheer and the history and the first team are kind of cool and interesting to learn about. I enjoy cheer and I like being out there with the other girls cheering on the football and basketball teams.
Are you going out for winter cheerleading too?
Yeah.
Wrestling or basketball?
Basketball.
Oh, very cool. Thank you. I'll take